Hey guys, MKS again here. Thought I'd come back with another video today because I don't think I've uploaded any today. So I went to the library, used the computer, but obviously I couldn't upload there in the library, partly because I don't have a camera and partly because obviously I don't want to disturb people if I can help it, which I hope I don't anyway. Try not to be too noisy in the library, obviously. Anyway, hopefully my brother won't disturb my live stream. My mum is supposedly coming back from holiday tomorrow, so my last day of freedom. But maybe, hopefully she'll come back on Sunday properly. Hopefully she'll stay in London or somewhere. Anyway, sorry for the waffle, but yeah, I was, I can't remember what I was going to say, but I was watching the football earlier. I was watching England versus Czech Republic, or as the Americans would call it, for anyone watching America, soccer. But obviously, I'm born and bred in the UK, so I call it football. So I hope I don't offend any Americans out there, but I would call it proper football, so I would say, because you actually use your feet. But please forgive me, any Americans out there. I know you probably see it differently, but anywho. So I'm going to try and get, if I can, from point 1 to 10, all being well. There's something I was going to say, but I can't remember it. But never mind, I'm sure I'll remember it later or whatever. But maybe I'll do it in my part 2 video, hopefully all being well. So if I can't upload them all today, I'll probably upload some tomorrow. But anywho, here goes. Hopefully people enjoy my videos, as I say. Hopefully they'll be positive and make people brighten their day or night or wherever you are. Make people enjoy them. Peace and love and all that positive vibes and things like that. In spite of the fact I can suffer from paranoia or anxiety sometimes, but anyway, yeah. So I wasn't sure about some of the things. I'm not sure whether I should include because they're a bit personal. I kind of want to be as honest as possible, as I say, and as I've said in my previous videos, and talk about all my ideas, all my issues, all my thoughts in my mind. Just to express myself, but maybe one day I'll be confident enough, possibly in November or something, be confident enough to do so, or we'll see how it goes. But anyway, I might even talk about my own stories and stuff like that as a dyslexic person. So, because I was thinking to myself, I want to try and stick to finish off all the ideas I have for dyslexia, awareness and empowerment, and Black History and empowerment in October, and then move on to something else from November. But I say a little corny joke here, but being dyslexic, I need extra time anyway. You know, let's say dyslexic people need extra time in exams. So I didn't actually get extra time when I was at school. But anyway, so I'll try not to waffle on. I'll get to the list then, and hopefully you'll enjoy this list. Initially, I was thinking of just thinking about whatever comes to my mind, and just saying that rather than having on my lists what I did before, about 30-point lists that I break into 3 parts. I was thinking of like just saying whatever comes to me, but because I have so many ideas, it's like I sort of get overwhelmed with so many ideas. I think it's a dyslexic thing, as I say. I think I said in my previous videos, like a dyslexic sort of trait to come up with so many ideas and to overthink. And then it's like, which ones do I take practice? So which ones do I stick to? So as soon as one idea comes to my mind, sometimes I think I'm going to write this idea, and then like another idea will come to my mind. And it's like, I have so many notebooks, I don't know which one to write in. So there's like another issue of mine is hoarding and stuff like that. But anyway, I'll come to that hopefully at some point. But I'm going to get up to the list. Said each day I like to stick to a certain theme. So for Fridays, I want to stick to things that begin with F. Generally speaking, not necessarily just things that begin with F, but generally speaking, that sort of stuff. So I'll start off the list. Point 1, what I was just talking about a minute or so ago, which is like I try to think of just writing or typing or doing whatever comes to my mind first, first thoughts that come to my mind. But so I hope my voice is being clear enough as well, and I'm not being too boring or anything. Hopefully I'm being interesting in some way. But yeah, so the first thoughts that come to my mind, just whatever comes to my mind, I hope to write it up or work on it straight away. I find that a bit difficult. Like this, one idea comes to my mind, then another one, as I say. And I'm not very good at drawing, but I've unfortunately, unlike many dyslexics, are good artists. Unfortunately, I don't have that talent. I'm just like an ideas person. I'm not very good at much other stuff. But anyway, so from next week, hopefully, every Friday, I'll say whatever comes to my mind. And although my family might say, please don't say that, but whatever ideas come to me about, like if they're about football or films or whatever. But for now, I'm going to try and just do this list one time for Friday, and then after that, each Friday, I'm going to just from the 18th, which is next week, I believe, the 18th, I think is, I'm going to try and do whatever ideas come to my mind. Yeah, pretty sure the 18th is next week. But anyway, sorry. So that's point one. Point two, I say like football, as I say, football, or as Americans call it, soccer, football Fridays. Like I came up with this idea about football fun Fridays, stuff like that. And sharing my ideas about football over time. Free, I talk about freedom, what freedom means to me, and share ideas, listen to ideas about other people, what freedom means to them. Like, as I say, because October and it's Black History Month, and as I call it, Black History and Empowerment, and Dyslexia Awareness and Empowerment, I'm hoping to hear from the Black and so-called dyslexic community what freedom means to them, respectively. Point four, I hope to think of film Fridays, films like African films like Nollywood from Nigeria, or films around Africa and Black people in films, and what people like, asking people opinion polls like, when you think of Black films, what do you think about, and stuff like that, and what's the first thing that comes to your mind, and also dyslexic people in films and things like that. And an idea I talked about before, which is like dyslexic people, there's lots of dyslexic directors and actors, actresses and so forth, so I'd love to make a film which works with dyslexic actors and directors like Steven Spielberg, Steve McQueen, I think Quentin Tarantino's dyslexic, but I'm not sure, but yeah, people like that, and like dyslexic actresses and actors like Keira Knightley, possibly Tom Cruise, possibly even Will Smith. I'm not sure if he's dyslexic or not, but I think I did hear him listed in the famous dyslexic group, so I'm not sure if that's true or not. Orlando Bloom and any other dyslexics who would want to be part of this film. I got like quite an imagination about ideas in my head for storylines, and I'd love to work with people who are good at putting it into practice and things like that. I think that was point four, was it? Wasn't it? Sorry, I'll try and focus. And point five, yeah, that's difficult to have. Like, sometimes I wonder whether to focus, as I say, on, like, I'll try and be flexible on Fridays. But sometimes, as I say, because I have so many ideas, it's difficult making decisions. I become indecisive about which ones to put into practice. So that's the dilemma about. And from next Friday, I'm hoping to just be flexible and think of whatever ideas come to my mind. So I might not focus on, I might jump from point to point rather than having a list, as I say. 6, I have to look at famous Black people around the world and famous dyslexics, Aborigines and people like that as well. Point 7, I hope to look at a famous, like feminist Fridays, like what do Black people think of feminism, or feminism in Africa, or female empowerment, African female empowerment, or Black female empowerment, especially African, like how we can make African girls and boys, but especially girls, to empower them, to fundraise for them to make like tech games. Like, imagine if, obviously legally, as I say, because everything I do I want to do legally, but if Africans can make their own version of Dong Dong or Street Fighter or stuff like that, games like that would be made in Africa. Thanks for the thumbs up, whoever gave me a thumbs up, that's great, really appreciate that. And yeah, I probably don't sound much like this, but I hope to have like fun Fridays, as I call it, and stuff like that. Yeah, fundraising for Africans to make technological games, and maybe even like a lot of countries want to go into Africa now and do trade. So I think like Japan, they were famous for making games, and so I think it'd be awesome to have like Japan making like in return for trade deals. Japan, companies from Japan or people from Japan could fundraise people from Africa to learn games. Like the African governments could say, if you train our young people to make tech games, like their own version of Nintendo or Sony or things like that, then we can help you with political support or trade deals or whatever, and that kind of thing. Another quirky idea of mine, so I hope it makes sense. I even thought of this idea like the MKS Sony Game Station, which would be a project to help Africans to make their own games, and special hubs which help them to learn how to make games that can be sold to mass market all around the world. And as I said before, I hope to help Africa to become a top place for technology. 8, I hope to discuss ideas about how we can take on the far right and nationalism, hatred, and all that sort of stuff, and how we can work together as people of color, like Black community and Asian or mixed race or other such groups, and yeah, just generally work together, network together, support each other, and things like that. 9, a lot of stuff I want to do is like about feminism, like support Black writers around the world, especially from Africa, especially women, female writers, to be able to express themselves and be empowered to become writers and things like that. I hope I didn't miss any points, by the way. And point 10, final point for part 1, is support young girls, especially in Africa, and Black girls around the world, but especially in Africa, and say like to get support for fundraising to do things like make their own games, to become writers. So it's like there's something called Black Girls Code in America, and I think it also exists in Africa, like in South African parts of Africa. And I hope that to roll that up, encourage the rest of Africa to develop that. Where it says like, and around the world, like Black girls can become coders, programmers, coders, writers, entrepreneurs, youngpreneurs, learning about business and things like that. Yeah, so I hope this video has been, sorry if it's a bit long and it's taken me a bit of time to get around to it. It's like I can't really tell the viewers like what time I'm going to be going live, because it just depends whether I think like I've got the house to myself or my brother's upstairs like going to sleep or going out or something, and then that's the only time like when I feel comfortable to stream. That's probably why I look a bit like looking around on edge and a bit shaky, but anyway. So like I say, I can't really set a certain time where I'm going to be able to upload. I was initially thinking of like taking a laptop and going into the lounge. I said before in my previous video about, at least one of my previous videos about going into like showing how I watch YouTube on my smart hub TV. Don't know if that'll be interesting, but I hope it will be. I hope I can do like fun stuff for Friday, which I normally want to do in my videos anyway. I always like to have fun. Probably don't really sound like it, but so I hope, as I say, I hope you like that video, and I try not to waffle too much now. But have a great time wherever you are. Peace and love, and may God bless you. Thanks.